Yes, people, I hope you're good. What I'm going to be running through today is the old argument of statics versus videos. What performs better and what are the use cases for both? Now, it's a question I get asked all of the time because I've once upon a time been very heavy on videos. As of right now, I'm very heavy on statics. And it's about how to determine what's a better fit for your brand. And there's a lot of takes, whether you're on YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, wherever you're looking and wherever you're getting your information from. There's a lot of takes, and I think a lot of them lack a lot of credibility, I like to think. So here's my take. Here's what I think. This is from someone who, for our own internal brands, has said we used to be very heavy on videos. We're now very heavy on statics. Unbiased approach. I run multiple e-commerce brands, also run an agency as of right now. So unbiased take, and hopefully you can find some information from that. But listen, the short answer for me is it depends on your specific goals, your audience, and of course your resources you have to hand as well. Okay, statics, for example, they're very cheap and quick to make. They're perfect for quick testing without having to blow your budget at the same time. They often crush you for more kind of direct response principles. If you need clicks and sales right now, statics can deliver. But the catch of those is they can get stale very quick. Okay, if you look at Facebook and Instagram, everything there is, well, probably 80% of the content you see there organically is an image. It is static, right? So people might scroll past it without a second glance. Okay, so very easy to kind of miss those, but if your cards are played correctly and your cards are dealt correctly, they will crush it for you. Now, video ads, they're attention grabbers. Okay, great for storytelling, great for showing off your product, great for building brand loyalty and brand love. Okay, the social media algorithms, they love them, they eat them up. The numbers you see in terms of like cost per click, your CPMs, so on and so forth, they're a lot cheaper with videos, I tend to find. Okay, but the downside of those they're more expensive, tenfold. Okay, very time consuming to produce. If you don't hook the viewers within the first few seconds, they're gone. Okay, we dig deep on, especially when it comes to the pricing side of things. If you want to do videos properly and effectively, you cannot not have all of your kind of ducks in a row. You need your script to be on point. You need your editing to be on point. If you're doing UGC, you need the content creators, you need your actors. Okay, the editing is not cheap. It all adds up very, very quickly. So they're not cheap to do if you do them correctly. Of course, you can do them when they're cheap, but if you do that, you pay peanuts, you get monkey. They're never going to work to the kind of effect that you want them to work. Okay, so if your budget's tight, use statics. You want to test loads and ideas quickly, again, use statics. If you're after immediate sales, your products are very straightforward, and you're targeting people who know your brand already and know what you're about, use statics. Okay. If you want to use video, you're going to be building brand awareness. Your product needs some explaining. You've got a story to tell. I'm not talking about Biggie's song. You got bigger budgets to play with, and you're targeting cold audiences who have never heard from you. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this and what the difference is between them both? Where I'm going with that is there's not a one size fits all answer. Okay, you need to see where your brand is at, see your current stats, let the data guide you. If you've got a product, like we're working with a client right now, they do a goalkeeper grip spray, right? The market saturation is very low because it's a very unique product. People have not got a fucking clue how to best use it, what it's about, how it works, if it's a buzzword or if it's a gimmick. They don't know, so it needs some explaining. Therefore, we use videos for that. For my main brand, which again is a goalkeeper brand, them two are not related. Goalkeeper gloves are very, what you see is what you get. All goalkeepers across the world, they wear gloves. So we don't need to explain the product. We need to explain the benefits. So statics work incredibly well for us there. So again, there's not a one size fits all answer. Every brand is different. But what you want to do, if you're in the kind of middle between those both, as you can see, use both. Okay, you want to test everything. Look at what's making you money and double down on that. The most successful brands who we're working with, and for our own internal brands, we use a mix. Video for initial awareness and storytelling, static for reinforcement and conversion, and you can also retarget with both based on what performs. Okay. Using statics is fantastic, using video is fantastic, but your ad is only as good as your offer. I know there's an argument out there that people think your product doesn't matter, the marketing matters. People think that's fucking stupid. Okay. You are not going to outsell a bad product. It's not going to work. So no amount of fancy production will sell a shit product. You want to always be testing. What works today may not work tomorrow. And going back on that, as of February of this year, which is 2024, right, we was 99% video. And that wasn't a bad thing. We had the resources to do it. It was performing well. It was crushing it. But overnight, like that, click of the fingers, they stopped working. So we had to react. We had to find a different solution to get performance back on track, right? So again, what works today might not work tomorrow. So you want to be testing a load of different things. You cannot put your eggs in one basket. Like I say, like we're using statics heavily right now. Of course we are. But I'm also very open-minded to think that, within 6 months that might change once again. We're keeping our options open across the board, which I think is, of course, important. And what's going to let that decide is the data. We will always want to pay attention to our data. Listen to what our CPMs are telling us. Listen to what our click-through rate, our cost per click is telling us. It's going to tell you what is working and what isn't. Do you see where I'm going with this? Very straightforward. But you need to remember as well, the best ad isn't about what looks good or what someone else says you should or shouldn't do. It's about what delivers results for your specific audience and your product. You're not winning design competitions with your ads. I think that's where a lot of people get tied up. You're here to make your ads are designed to make sales, right? The end game, I don't care about your stop scroll rate, your thumb stop rate. I don't care about any of that. The only thing what matters is what the numbers tell you. How much have you spent? What's the returns and what's the return on ad spend? Do you see where I'm going? Don't overthink it. Test both static and video. See what works for your brand and scale the winners. No two brands are the same unless they're in the same niche and the same vertical. Only then is that information relevant. Like if another brand in my space, the goalkeeper glove space, said, videos are working, I'm going to be listening to that information because that's what the market feedback, that's what the market tells me. But if you're following someone on Twitter or YouTube who's saying they run a clothing brand and you run a pet brand, what's the crossover? There is no crossover. Why would you take that information? You want to test both, and that's how you're going to win at this game. Let the data decide what's working, what isn't. Cut the winners, scale the winners. Cut the slack, scale the winners. That's how you win in this game. At the end of the day, as I said once more, your goal is to make money, not win design awards. Let your results guide your strategy, and you'll be ahead of 90% of advertisers out there. Okay, there's no one size fits all. To recap, always be testing, always keep your options open. Don't rely on one vertical. Don't even rely on one platform, because we've seen what's happened with Facebook over the course of this year. So test things, listen to your feedback, go with the feedback, and see where it takes you. That's my feedback, that's my advice. And again, we're generating 500 different creatives per month. That's across statics, GIFs, whatever they're called, and videos. Options are open. That's also across Meta and Google too. You see where I'm going? So don't rely on one thing. Change things about. Let the data guide you, and there we go from there. But hopefully you found some value from this video. Any questions, let me know. And I'll see you on the other side.